bullshit like, what I like to eat, what I like to shop for, men's clothing and all that.
Right.
Start feeding it some intellectual stuff.
Yeah, bro. We probably like the like 0.5% of the other 99.5% bullshit out there.
Yeah, man. I mean, like you were saying, um, the result of your beliefs, if you hold true to them, and if you like work on them, and you work on improving them and all that, you'll see the results of what you believe in if you're onto something. Like, if you're legitimately onto something, like, you can also see, you can convince yourself that they're there in like the negative scenarios. Like, a cynical person can find, negativity any chance they get. It's a lot more difficult to like go in and have a very sound and reasonable approach to what's going on in the bigger picture of reality, and then like work on applying yourself in that direction and seeing if the cause and the effect like correlate like
Right.
mentally.
The thing is, you break it down into a science, like I tell everybody, man, like the Big Bang Theory is still a theory because they haven't proven it yet. They're trying to disprove it, and once they disprove it, it'll no longer be a theory. My problem is with the religion thing is they wrote one book and they're like, this is just facts, even if it doesn't correlate with your life, like the scientific approach, not making fun of religion or anything like that. What I'm saying is like when you like you just said, when you have something and you see it being reinforced inside your life,
Yeah,
that's when you find
it's irrefutable.
right.
Yeah, and but that's the spicy part is because all right, so Easter just came. So, like, let's take the resurrection of Jesus, for example, as a hypothetical situation. And let's say that there's a group of people that observed what they believed to be the resurrection of Jesus. And it's because they believed in it so much that they saw it. Like, they, not saying that they forced themselves to see it, but that maybe in their time, what they believed in, they were so close to, and they believed in it so much that like it's impossible to know what they experienced, right? So that's just like a little, that's like an example from that particular book. Now the rest of it, yeah, you can get into like, oh, people just wanted to manipulate words,
Right.
and have power over them, and we still do that today. I mean, just look at advertising, look
Oh,
at
for sure, man.
messaging and all that. It's all the same, man. Like, all the common folk are just swindled left and right by words and colors and just everything,
Right.
and all this trash, man. It just creates like this cycle of lack of progression, in my opinion.
Right, and which is like one part that I truly agree with you on. Even I mean, I'll go into my whole theory with the God thing, but like there was a I don't know what you'll call it. I don't want to say a monk or like a friar. Or it was a person who was over the Bible. You know that like many exchanges went through the Bible over the years or whatever like that. And what he was saying was, I guess a scholar of the Bible. What he was saying was even Adam and Eve. He says a lot of things inside the Bibles are allegories or examples. He says the thing is, people don't understand. People aren't as educated as they were of this time to know everything. So what they had to do is break it down into stories where people can understand.
And they can relate to it.
Right. Which made a lot more sense. Right. who had the hammer? Mjolnir. Thor.
People are so damn dumb these days. You gotta dress shit up in like comic books and superheroes to get stuff through to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Even in Fast and Furious movies, you gotta like represent the theme of family with Fast and Furious.
Right.
Doing stuff like that.
And I ain't gonna lie, man. Sometime it worked because when I was a younger kid, I would have never read the Russian Revolution. But when I read Animal Farm, which is an allegory to the Russian Revolution, when I read the Russian Revolution, it made a lot more sense. But I had to get it broken down to me in a simpler form as a kid, you know, like in the third or fourth grade. Like you start breaking down 1917, the Tsar of Russia. Like I don't give a fuck. Be telling me some fucking pigs did this shit. I'm like, oh, that's dope.
Right.
Right.
The simplest way to break something down, I've come to learn in my theories, is to be about like what you believe in, right? So
Right.
you live by it because it's undeniable at that point. Like, as far as let's just use love as an example. So if I feel as if love is misappropriated and misused and people have it misunderstood, then theoretically I would develop a sounder understanding of love, and I would apply it to my own personal life, and I would live by it. And if my theory is accurate, then my version of love and my idea of love would begin to like affect other people um, more than their version of love. It's like let's say it's like Animal Farm. If Animal Farm is the best way to get people to understand the Bolshevik and Russian Revolution and everything that was going on there and communism and all that, then
Right.
nothing else can do a better job of like getting it understood. Like you would have to write a better book that got through to people the fundamentals of what was going on in order for it to do
Resonate.
a better job. Yeah, and that's why the Bible gets my respect, because like there's a lot of stuff there, and yeah, it's open for criticism like any other book or movie or anything is. But it's are there things that do a better job of creating a baseline in certain areas? I'm sure, yeah, if you really like got to looking at stuff, there's plenty of philosophical works and maybe other religious texts like in the realm of Buddhism or Taoism or some of the Eastern religions that like talk more about the peace versus the war aspects of things. Um, but overall, the accessibility of it, and it's like, man, you hear people go to jail and stuff, or prison, like, and all that, and they come out reformed, and it's not because of the bars and the prison bars. It's because a lot of them like at least got a foundation in there that helped them write them in the wrong way. I don't even want to like I don't want to talk about that because it's just like you know where I stand on that. I mean I'm like I'm very that's part of my theory at the end of the day.
Right.
Like
Right. 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 Right.
I'm interested in seeing which way that goes, and I kind of like I'm hands off with it. Like I don't read it avidly or anything like that. Um, there are a lot of like parts of it that get through to me on a deeper level, as far as like the resonation of it and like the meaningfulness of some of the words, because man, it's crazy as a rap fan. Like a lot of it is structured like like a rap song, like with double entendres and deeper meanings, like you just said. So it's very interesting to me. The level of aptitude and understanding that you have for the art really makes you receive it differently.
Yeah. Yeah, like anything, like a Matrix movie. Like some people see it as an action movie, some people see it as a philosophical movie, some people just see it as a good darn movie, you know. But it's just what resonates with you. Don't like if you're not like a philosopher, not even say a philosopher, like a deeper thinker, and you hear someone else say it, that didn't resonate with you. You're just regurgitating what someone else said.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah, facts.
I, I, that's I mean that's the beauty of this world, man. Like you could take different positions, like the freedom. I mean that's a
Well,
huge level of freedom.
you're segueing to that original prompt from earlier today, where it's like the history repeating itself, and I don't have a problem with it. I've learned to sort of just be okay with it and go with the flow. But no idea is original is like an old axiom or an
Even Nas used
it's
that in his rap songs. one of his rap songs. No Ideas original. Yeah, that's what we need to dive into, man. Like,
No idea is original, then history will repeat itself, right?
right.
Because everything is stemming off of a previous iteration, so it's kind of impossible to create anything new and experience anything new.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest, like, I mean, not trying to stray away from the subject, but like, nothing is really new. Even I mean, this gonna sound bad, but like even like the birth of your child, the birth of you, the birth of anyone wasn't new. Like what
Oh, of course not.
only reason why you were able to grow because your mother was taking in something that already existed and allowed your body to grow. You're just taking it's kind of like a Lego block. It's like you're just taking pieces. Like, yeah, you may have like a new form that's never been seen, but everything that's inside of you, everything that makes you was already here before you existed.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're speaking materialistic. Well, not materialistic. You're
Physical.
speaking physical world. Yeah. So
Yeah, I know you're more on the mental with no with the ideas, but I mean, just with the physical, it's like nothing. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to understand that. Let's say, like in the fifth grade, like no, that's a new baby. It didn't resonate with me yet until I learned like your mother was just a vessel from something that already existed to make you exist. Because if she didn't eat those things, you wouldn't exist at all.
absolutely.
Yeah, and with the ideas, man, that's something to jump into, man. Like I get it. Like every single, like
That's
a
where I think newness does exist because,
okay.
well,
I'm on the
I
fence. I
base
don't
this
know.
off. I base it off of the Hermetic principles, and like you've known me 3 years. I base a lot of stuff on this because they're like the movies that get through to people, and like the literature that gets through to people. That's another one that just gets through to me, and it makes sense to me. And I put it through a rigorous
Just like a scientist,
set. Yeah,
you
just
take
like
a
a
theory, you try to break it.
scientific method,
It
bro.
doesn't break.
All
It still holds
those
truth.
seven those seven principles are applicable. I do it with almost everything that I question, um, like very quickly, and anything I'm studying. So one of the principles, the Hermetic laws, is the law of correspondence, as above, so below. And so if science on Earth can tell me that the universe is expanding and that we're discovering new planets and that we're discovering new galaxies that may have the composition of them may be similar to other galaxies and other
Oh,
planets,
exactly.
but they have a uniqueness
Right.
to them. Then you look at like you can look down on our planet. You can say human life is somewhat like that. No two people look the same unless they're fraternal twins, and et cetera, et cetera. But you can also use it as like a conceptual model for thought and for like where the ideas come from. Because if the universe is expanding at an infinite rate out there, and let's just say like you get transported to the edge of the universe right now, and if you're like in a little vessel or in a ship like in Interstellar,
Right.
and instead of going in a black hole, you're at the edge of the universe where light is currently piercing through the darkness. Everything that you experience at the edge of the universe is going to be new. It's going to be infinitely new, um, at that level of expansion. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not already there. That's a more complicated conversation, I guess. But to me, that's the way that thought works. Because when you're, let's use the colloquial saying of having your mind blown. Like when you have your mind blown, it's it's an expansion of your mind, quite literally.
Right. Right.
It's like
Right.
some
It's a new
pathways in your
territory. It
mind.
never explored.
Yeah, some pathways in your mind open up. Now, science on Earth and anatomy studies and biology and all that tells me that there's a certain amount of brain that we have access to. But I don't know that that's true because
I mean,
I, I know the science says we use X amount of our brain, but over the course of like one thing that science has taught me understand about something right now is not set in stone. It's not definite by
Oh,
any means.
100%.
So I'm just using what we feel is, accurate today to sort of prognosticate what's going to be likely in the future. And it all points to not only do we create our own realities, but there's a reality that isn't creatable by us. Like there's a reality that exists outside of. We've been given access, like you said, the I am God theory, with the
Right. So you leading right into my theory, what you're saying right now.
we've been given access to create, or at least align with, an infinite universe. What that means is, on our scale of understanding it, we can participate in it. So if that theory is true, then yeah,
Okay.
you're right and I'm right.
Right. Well, let me break down my mental part of I am God. All right. So I don't know if we went over this, but I just still want to run it back to you. Right. Did I tell you about the dream? Okay. Okay. Cool. So this is how you break it down from instead of a. I'll still break down the physical part, but this is more the mental part. So in my mental part is that God was created. God's literally the Big Bang. Right. Kind of like you're a baby, and every single living cell inside of you is like, wow, this is as big as it get. And the next thing you know, they start to study each other, and the body starts to grow. Like it turns like 5-year old, 10-year old, and it's still expanding. And the brain, the cells inside of it think that it's expanding infinitely. So that would be your. I mean, that's more of a physical form. That would be like the God, like without me eating on the outside, these cells wouldn't exist because eventually they'll die because I'll kill them all. I am part of. I'm not saying that I am God. I'm not using that part there. I'm saying like if I want to use myself as what I believe in the physical form of God.
Yeah, you could say it because it applies to the whole principle of as above, so below. If God is a bigger energy, then you have access to it on a more intimate level,
Right.
right here. So it's the same thing, and it checks out.
And then that's the physical part, but the mental part. Okay, let's say like you are the. I mean, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but like you're the God of your dreams. Because it's all your consciousness, from the car that you're driving, from the trees that you see, from the people that you come across within your dreams. You're all creating this through your consciousness, right? So, all right, go ahead. No, if you want to rebuttal it, I would love it, man.
The only rebuttal I have to that is that I feel as if unless you have unless you have a full understanding of the how it's not the right word, the control aspect of it, or the understanding of it, like until you have a full grasp of it, you're sort of living in a bunch of dreams. Because okay, so this is gonna sound weird, but the car I drive right now is a Chrysler 300. I wasn't around when Chryslers existed, so I'm not driving a car that I dreamt of driving. I'm not driving a creation of mine. I'm not driving a car in the material world that I, as God, will wish to drive. I'm driving a car that was somebody else's idea.
Oh no, see, you're going too far with it.
Maybe.
I'm not comparing like. There's nothing with the physical world. This is all pure dream.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Pure dream. Like within your dream, you are the creation of every. I'm not saying you created the Empire State Building if you stand upon it, because you've seen that in real life. But I'm saying is at that moment, your mind is creating the Empire State Building. That is all part of your consciousness.
Visually.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not creating anything new. You don't have any 2051 Lamborghini going around inside there. You probably got a Lamborghini that already exists. What I'm saying is, at that moment for that exact dream, you are creating everything that's conscious within your everything inside your subconscious. Your mind is creating it, right?
Yes.
So technically, like God created everything in the physical world, you're kind of like the God in the dream world because you are creating everything, right?
That's interesting.
And it goes a little deeper.
But I was just reading a
Oh
And
yeah.
human beings don't have a full understanding yet of how to translate that energy and that pure raw level of energy into the external world. And all we've been able to do um, is pretty good, but all we've been able to do so far is, create portions of our wildest dreams.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I mean, this is kind of, I mean, this is on the subject, but off my guidance, whatever, like that. But there was an artist named Salvador Dali, and
Yeah,
what
of course.
he did was tied a bell to the end of his finger. You know, so at the time, everyone was painting nature, and so what he would do is he would tie a bell to the end of his finger, sit inside of a chair, fall asleep, and when his hand would drop, meaning that he's going into his subconscious, the bell would hit the ground, and the first thing that he dreamt of, he would paint it. So he's going from his internal to the external world. I mean, it's very minimal, you know, but still, he was showing his in touch of his subconscious, bringing it out into the consciousness.
Oh yeah, people do dream journaling now. That's very similar to that. Like they'll set their alarms. Funnily enough, it'll be a clock related to a clock again. So they'll just set their alarms to wake them up in the middle of like REM sleep, and then they'll journal whatever they comes to mind.
That's dope.
And
Yeah.
dream
Well,
journaling is pretty popular these days. I had no idea Salvador Dali did that though.
oh yeah, he had a cheat code, man, because everybody can only paint what appeared inside the real world. He had like elephants walking on like these like skinny legs, these melting clocks with like ants on top of it. It's things that you would say that, oh, who would ever think of this? You really do think of this during your dreams. It's just that a lot of times you forget what you thought of. But back to what I'm saying, like you're creating everything, right? So let's say like inside of your dream, um, you just left Arkansas, right? So let's say like inside of your dream, you're back in Arkansas, right?
I
And
wish I was.
it
That was a
was beautiful.
rampage, bro.
And so the thing is, everyone is under the collective illusion of your dream. Because the thing is, like I say, like if you're like inside Arkansas and like you go to a gas station, you talk to a guy and you're like, man, how do I get to
Tapping
the
into some crazy, but you're tapping into crazy stuff right now. So okay, go on. I gotta follow up to you.
all right, and you're like, hey man, how do I get to Hot Springs? You know, but in reality, that dude at the gas station is you because you're creating him with inside of your dream, right? So the thing is, so because it's like reality. Like I do not know exactly what you're thinking, you know, but inside your dream, even know that you are everything. You're a god, and so I'm not. So the thing is, so
Are you
when,
familiar with Taoists?
oh, 100%.
Like the Tao, okay, and you know what they like. One of their big principles is like sort of becoming nothing,
Right.
right? Becoming no one,
Pretty much
and
become
then you
water.
find yourself. Yes, and then you move with the flow of time, the flow of nature, and the actual like the larger the larger creator of reality that is time, nature, God, whatever you want to call it, love. It's a whole bunch of different energy forces that are greater, for what it's worth, than the energy we have an understanding of so far as human beings. So when you become nothing, it's crazy that you mentioned this story about like Arkansas and all that. Okay, so let me the adage, out of sight, out of mind, right?
Right.
So if I don't if you just don't inform anyone of your movement and where you are, what you're doing, in effect, you sort of become that. One of my one of my closest friends at the time, I moved to Canada for like 2 years, um, 2010, 2011, to take care of my grandfather, and then I came back to Texas in 2012. One of my closest friends before I moved to Canada would go out every day. Um, Not every day, maybe, I'm sorry, maybe like 3 or 4 times a week. We'd
Weekly.
go, yeah, we'd go hang out, we'd have drinks, we'd play pool, stuff like that. 6 months ago, I reach out to him, and he's like, I had no idea you were down here, bro. I'd have been hitting you up the whole time. I thought you were in Canada. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, I've been living here 8 years.
Right.
actual example or analogy, but it confirms a couple of things for me. That you can be invisible and get a lot done in this world. You might be able to get more done if nobody knows what you're doing.
True. True.
And it's weird because everybody seems to know what each other is doing these days, like as far
Right.
as
Facebook, social media.
communication and all that. Yeah. And it's funny. It's funny because you can put it to the test, and you can see how much you can get done without telling anyone. So I don't know if this is going too far with it. It's a little risky of a theory, but I believe that energy interference is a real thing. So here's another example. This girl that I'm talking to right now, she's the same girl that I was talking to a year ago. A year ago, I wanted to make all these moves with this girl that I'm now making. But a year ago, I told a lot of my closest friends and my family after a divorce that I met this girl. And they were outspoken about the fact that I was moving too quickly. It didn't change the way I felt about this girl
Right.
at all. But if I respect the idea that they have an element of independent control over creating reality, then I have to, if that's accurate, if that's a fair assessment to make, like if I say, hey, Jared, you have a good enough understanding about your creative element that you can create to a certain degree that I can create, and I can do the same. Like we're on similar creative, um, whatever the word is.
Planes.
We can create, yeah, we can create on the same wavelength.
Right.
So even if there are people below you on the creative wavelength, that doesn't mean that their energy can't interfere. You see that every day, right?
Oh, 100%.
Traffic.
Mhm.
Traffic.
Right.
These motherfuckers, it doesn't matter what I do. These motherfuckers' energy gets in my way on the highway and shit.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I could be Dr. Manhattan. These motherfuckers will still be there on the fucking highway getting in my way. So to go back, like to the more serious energy talk, it's like if 3 or 4 people disagree with, and don't tell me about it, but they just feel like I'm going about something the wrong way, my energy almost has to over dominate theirs in order for my version of reality to pan out.
Right.
So this is where time and the natural flow of things is very interesting. Because yeah, I just pumped the brakes essentially, and for other reasons, me and this girl stopped talking for a long period of time, and then everything was right and it reemerged. But this go round, I'm not telling anybody.
Right.
I mean, except for you.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll get you.
Because now if something goes wrong, I'll be like, well, I only told one motherfucker.
And that's the beauty of attention and tension. What they said is that a rubber band is perfectly fine sitting still, right?
Yeah.
It has no tension. But when you bring your, this is a very double entendre play of words. But when you give your attention to something, it causes the rubber band to get out of shape, huh?
I hear the double entendre. I'm gonna put in a rap song.
It causes that rubber band to get out of shape and no longer be within its natural shape where it just flows with time. Now it has attention towards something else that's bending it out of shape instead of staying inside its regular form where it's perfectly fine. So that goes into, if you don't tell anyone, then you don't give the attention tension to people that are telling you 40 different things. You're giving no tension at all because this is your natural self.
Absolutely. You are residing in the fact that you are aligned with the natural flow of things
Right.
as is. Yes.
Right.
You have to actually be, though. Like, if you're off, if you're distorted as well. So I can look back in hindsight and say, oh, those people didn't have any impact. It was actually me because I was nowhere near ready for the moves that I was wanting to make at that time.
Again, you gave your
So,
attention to someone else.
exactly.
And that caused tension within your fucking self. Like, there's a famous little scientific study that they showed.
Here's another double entendre that applies to that. The attention, the inverse of that, or the disruption of the energy and the flow of it, I feel as if the word for it is distortion.
True. Yeah. If you're speaking about energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like distortive energy is energy that interferes with the natural flow of things.
Right.
Crazy.
And I was about to say there's a famous I mean not I mean whatever I like studies but this is one that's actually able to film. They had two monkeys, right, and they did the rock for fruit exchange. So give me two rocks, I'll give you two pieces of fruit, right? So they had one in the left cage, one in the right cage. So they had a bunch of rocks inside of the cage. So one of the monkeys gave the lady, the scientist, two rocks, and she gave him two pieces of cucumber. This motherfucker smiling, happy as shit, right? Next thing you know, the monkey on the left gave the two rocks to the lady, and she gave him two grapes. Next thing you know, when the monkey on the right gave the two rocks, and she gave him two cucumbers, he threw the cucumbers at her face. It wasn't good enough anymore. It's because he was giving his attention towards something else. You get what I'm saying? It was perfectly fine. He was perfectly right with this rubber band.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man. I mean, and then you're like, oh, well, that's just monkeys. No, this is applies to humans, man. Let there be $1 million giveaway to everyone inside your neighborhood. You be happy as fuck, and then the next neighborhood gets 10 million. You're like, wait, what the fuck? We only got one. It's like,
The are you play a lot of video games?
sometimes not deep as I used to be.
Well, you probably know the terminology well enough. So the movie, me and this girl, we're gonna watch a movie here in a little bit. The movie we're gonna watch is Focus with
I remember Will
Will
Smith.
Smith.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a
Watch
good
that.
movie.
Yeah.
I like the movie, but the word itself and the meaning of focus, it's one of those things that you can't do. Like you can't actively. I think if you set out to focus on something, then you've already like distorted your ability to focus. I think focus is a natural thing that you have to work yourself into naturally. You
Yeah.
have to meditate, you have to be able to reduce the distortion and the noise around you in order for focus to occur. It's it's something that I feel is zen like in many ways. And I might be talking out my ass a little bit here, but I think there's a lot of stuff that here's back to the video game mention I was just saying. There's a lot of stuff that is more like a passive ability. Like when you play an RPG and you have your active abilities and you have your passive abilities. The active abilities are things you actually have to press the buttons for
Right.
on the controller in order to do them. But the passive abilities, and you never really know they're there until you're like, oh shit, I didn't know I could do that. The passive abilities are just always there in
Right.
video games.
You just have to become in touch with them, which.
Yeah, or you have to level up to the exactly. Yeah, you have to level up your XP to a certain level, and then you inherit new passive abilities. That's how the RPGs work. That's crazy.
And that's how I feel consciousness work. And no, what
Indeed.
like what like my God theory on the dream is still that you, Sasha, is the God, and X is inside of the dream. Excess is inside of the dream, right? Excess blinks his eyes and opens his eyes and sees like a cafe and say, let's say like Arkansas, right? So excess is like, dude, let's say you become conscious with inside of your dream. You're like, fuck, okay, I close my eyes and it's still here. And I'm sitting across from this person and they see it too. They're sitting, like everything inside your dream is matter, but it's not really matter, you know? And so you're like, so what is beyond this? Something, I'm just saying, excess became conscious within the dream, right? He's like, there's something that has to be beyond this. Like, there's something out of here that created all of this stuff. And you're focusing, then you're like, well, maybe a God created this, right? And so next thing you know, excess started praying out to an infinite distance to this God, you know, like, man, like, thank you so much for creating me, this, and that, you know, like, or worshiping, whatever, like that. But the reality of that, if you're using it inside of because there's only limited words that we can use, but this is like an example I came up with. The thing is, excess is Sasha because you created Sasha. So you don't actually have to pray out to a God to thank him. You have to pray within.
Inwardly.
Right. Because the God, I'm not saying that you're God. The God that's created you, excess, inside of that dream is there with you the whole time. It is your infinite consciousness.
Yes. You're defining what prayer means to me. Like, you get the whole prayer hands movement, you get the send your prayers and all that and all the superficial approaches to it. And for what it's worth, people can have those interpretations of what prayer is like.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
All prayer all prayer means to me is that conversation, that inner monologue that you have.
Conversation with yourself within, which goes back to the thing that I am God. I am speaking to myself. And I am making it come true because I am not. I'm just a partial. I'm a finite God. You know, there's an infinite God who's in all of us. You know, and so when I talk to myself, the infinite person that has every possibility can make it come true.
Oh yes, but my friend, in closing, because I gotta watch this movie and we're gonna continue this.
All right.
And this is just, I know this is like a preview, a teaser trailer of the bigger conversation that we're gonna have at some point. But you just discussed the understanding of things on multiple levels, depending on your ascent through consciousness. So let's combine that with my theory that, and this isn't meant to come off as like a Dr. Manhattan like statement or anything like that.
Right.
A finite God can be turned into an infinite sort of grasp of things very quickly because all that is a limitation on yourself.
Yeah. It's just the tools we were given, man. I mean, I can understand breaking out of like.
But what if you've been given everything and it's on you to run through the ascent of consciousness to access them, just like an RPG? You just keep leveling up.
But the thing about it is what I like to put it as is like, let's say like you're a CEO of a company, right? Let's say like the CEO is representing the God. It sees everything that's happening. It's getting reports from everywhere. Next thing you know, there's something going wrong with the buffet. Let's say there's a buffet inside of your company. Let's say like you run like a casino. You know, there's a buffet. The second that CEO chooses to focus on that buffet, it loses focus of everything else. It's making itself finite. It has infinite knowledge of everything that's going on the casino floor, the slot machines, the table games, everything when it stands back. But the second it takes time to focus on one thing, it loses focus on the broader picture.
I 100%.
So this is
I think like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I told you about some like exercise of just like looking at the room and the fact that when you don't focus, you have a grasp of everything. Like you do it right now, you can just look around the room and don't really look, but just set your eyes on one point, and you can still grasp everything that's around. But then if I tell you to like look at one thing in the room, then all of a sudden everything around that one thing, you don't have a real grasp of it anymore.
you become finite.
Yes.
And which is like my ocean world theory is that everything inside of this world, this ocean is God. All the water is God, you know. And we're all whirlpools. Like you're a whirlpool, I'm a whirlpool. Objects are whirlpools, and it just give a physical form into a finite part of the overall God. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. To be continued.
Yeah. Well,
I get what's
it's a lot to digest on the first saying, but
it's not. It is, but it isn't, man. Like
I can't tell this to a normal person in Kroger's, bro.
I wish I could tell you how ready I am for like where you're going with the conversation, but we'll get there.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, I can't tell this to a person in Kroger, so I can't tell. Like they're like, "Do you believe in God?" I just rather say, I don't know, you know, because it takes a lot of understanding. It takes a lot of deeper understanding in order to even enter that mindset. Like your consciousness RPG. When you become more conscious, you have more abilities
Yes.
that you didn't even know you had.
Absolutely.
All right, bro.
But then you're on the path to infinite, not finite. And that's the thing. Like if you align with the back to the town thing, if you align with the natural flow of things, then you're aligning with the infinite expansion of the universe.
True. You know who's based off Taoism? Morpheus. If you remember the elevator scene from part one, and they're like, well, that didn't go that well with the part two with the Merovingian. He says everything has gone as it's supposed to go. And when the bell hit ding, he seen Persephone, Merovingian wife, and she was like, "Come with me." And he was like, "You see,
Absolutely.
everything is flowing how it's supposed to be." Neo was worried, Trinity was worried, but Morpheus flowing.
Not worried at all.
Right.
All right, fam.
All right.
Until next time.
All right. Great combo, bro.